How's it going, everyone? There are many trading card games out there that have lore backstories. Some of you watching might be wondering why they do this. I believe it adds more depth into the game itself, as far as the card that you are playing actually has a backstory to it. It can also create more player attraction to certain main characters in the game. In this video, I am going to explain why I feel Flesh and Blood has one of the best lore backstories in the trading card game industry. In case you haven't played Flesh and Blood yet, the game is based around you selecting a hero that you're going to use to fight with. Now, what's interesting if you're getting into the lore of the game is every hero in this game has its own backstory, and it lets you know a little bit more about the hero that you are using. So to explain a little bit, my favorite hero in the game of Flesh and Blood is Katsu the Wanderer. I really like him because he's part of the ninja class, and every character has different classes that you can use. And his backstory is he's a very calming person, which relates to me a little bit. And I really like his backstory because he is part of a hidden clan from Mysteria. And they have this curse that they all obtain this disease at a certain age. So at some point, he finally decided to go out into the world and find out why they obtained this curse and how he can free them from this curse. If you do have an interest in this game, I do recommend you looking into the backstory of the hero that you're kind of choosing, because it might help you get more attached to the hero that you're playing. And me personally, I have more fun knowing that when I'm using my hero. What you are looking at right now is the world of Wraith. This is the map that Flesh and Blood has created to have a bit more of an outlook of what their world looks like. I've always liked and found it very interesting on how much different each place is. And I'll just do a quick overview of each one. So to start off, which is like the main centerpiece of the world of Wraith, is Solana, which is a very religious city, and they're inspired by the light. Their counterpart is the Demonastery. Now they are known to be doing super unnatural powers, and they're more inspired by darkness. Now, kind of in between there, we have another place called Volcor. This is a civilization that was built on a very large volcano, and they are the first place to discover arcane powers. Then we have Mysteria. Mysteria is mostly where all the ninjas are, with a mix of a couple others, and this place is based off of a lot of mountains and very treacherous terrains, which is why only so many people are able to withstand the environment. Then we're going to go over to Aria. This is probably one of my favorite places because it's very mystical. They do a lot of carnival festivals there. They have their own currency of using a barter system. And a lot of them are just, having fun and having a good time. The only thing interesting about this place is that their terrain is very sporadic. And if you look into the world of Wraith and look at Aria, you'll see what I'm talking about. Then we're going to go to Metrix. And Metrix is going to be for all you steampunk fans because it is an entire city based off of technology and steam. And there's a lot of copper there. Underneath Metrix, there is a place called the Pits. This is pretty much where all the waste from Metrix goes to, and it's where most of the poor civilization of Metrix lives. And then, last place that we're gonna brush up on will be the Savage Lands. So this is pretty much just a vast jungle that have a lot of creatures that are pretty much there just to survive. And it's where most of the brute class comes from. And it is pretty cool if you're into like monsters. Which I mean, feel like most of us are into that. The Savage Lands is a very interesting place. And that goes for every notified landmark of this place. And there can still be more to come. So this is just a brief reasoning why I think Flesh and Blood has a fantastic lore. Mostly just for that in general. There's so many events that are going on, and when you have these very dramatic places, you can take your story into a lot of different directions. Before we wrap it up here, the last thing I can say is there are super beings sleeping underneath all these landmarks. And there's a group called El Apocalypta, which is a cult waiting for the end of time for this world. And at some point, this story is going to be breaking into the group between them and these super beings waking up at some time. And when that happens, I'm very excited to see where this lore direction goes, and the card game itself is going to be in a very interesting place. So that is my reasoning why I think Flesh and Blood has one of the best lore stories in the trading card game industry. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all try it out. And if you are already playing Flesh and Blood and never got into the lore, it never hurts to just brush up on it a little bit. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you are interested in more, you can check out my lore booster box game section that, as I'm cracking open packs, I will also talk about different story articles from the website. Take it easy.